How are you, sir? Morning. Yeah.
My guest, my co-MC, my name is Amanago.
But for Comrade Ayuba Waba, he has been very passionate about the growth and development of the party. And so what we have here today, I ascribe the success to him. I therefore want to specially welcome him to this retreat. He is not here alone. He's here with the presidents and general secretaries of all the industrial unions in Nigeria. Struggles to chase away the military from the country. I recall the constitutional struggles, all the battles in courts to revolutionize our constitutionalism and bring it to where it is today. The human rights we enjoy today, the democracy we enjoy today, fine-tuning of our constitutionalism with Gani Fawemi and a host of other comrades who were in that struggle. I want to specially welcome our own comrades, Femi Falana. Our own learned son. His loyalty to the struggle, his loyalty to NLC, and by extension, his loyalty to Labour Party as of today is not in doubt. I want to welcome all our candidates, the candidates of the party, our senatorial candidates, our House of Rep candidates, our state houses of assembly candidates, and indeed our state party chairmen and secretaries who are here with us today. I want to specially welcome you for holding forth in this party. I want to put on record your commitment over the years to the ideas of Labour Party. Our chairmen were available even when there was nothing in the party. I can recall when our chairmen were using their personal resources to hire offices, to attend press conferences, attend meetings, and develop the party at their state level. When there was nothing in the party. I want to specially welcome you to these retreats. It is our prayers that by the grace of God, we shall all reap the fruits of our labor. We are here today to carry out a retreat. We agreed with the leadership of the Trade Union Congress and the Nigeria Labour Congress that when the campaign is about to kickstart, we all need to bring key stakeholders of the NLC, of the TUC, and other key stakeholders to a retreat where we can all sit down, look at the issues that is at stake, agree on critical areas, and then get the buy-in of our members, get the buy-in of the unions, and of course, the NLC and TUC. And that is why we are here gathered today. I also want to quickly put on record that the opportunity we have today is a unique opportunity for us to redefine the way politics is played in Nigeria. It is no longer in doubt that the country is not working. It is no longer in doubt that the numerous and plethora challenges that we have in the country is as a result of failed leadership, successive failed leadership that we have had over the years. Obviously, the political class that we have had have no capacity, do not have the knowledge and what it takes to drive the process of development for the country. Nigeria is a country that is richly blessed in terms of human resources, in terms of natural resources. All that we need is to have a proactive and intelligent leadership to be able to harness our resources and then reposition the country for effective performance and greatness. And this precisely is what has been lacking in the country. What is even worse for us now is that no one is safe again in the country. Insecurity has ravaged the country. There is hunger, there is poverty, there is unemployment. The country is not working. Students are at home, no school. This is the situation we find ourselves. And it is very clear to us that it cannot be business as usual come 2023. It is very obvious, it is clear to us that something needs to be done urgently if we will be able to continue as a country. And I'm very pleased and happy today that Nigerians have taken their destinies in their own hands. I'm very proud of Nigerians today who have identified with the party and have taken their destinies in their hands. I'm sure that Nigerians are ready for a positive change. Not the change that we had in 2015, but a change that will change the political narratives in Nigeria. This is about the first time that we are seeing the spontaneous reaction that we are seeing in the country. Today, the party is growing on all fronts. People are joining the party. People are keying into this project. People are forming the structures. People are organizing rallies without being paid. People are donating caps, and they are driving this process. And I think that it is worth commending. I want to conclude this welcome address by appealing to our key leaders, our stakeholders, our allies, particularly those of us from the trade unions, that this is a wonderful opportunity that history has put on our hands to change the country. In the life of every country, the society has a way of throwing up new leadership, new political leadership. And I think that this is the opportunity the trade unions is having today. And I want to appeal to the leadership of the unions that this Labour Party project, especially the one of 2023, that we should all key into it, identify with the party, identify with our candidates, and let us, for once, enthrone a Labour government in Nigeria that will be able to drive the process of development for the country. If we do this, I'm sure that posterity and history will judge us alive. I want to thank you this morning, and I want to welcome you all to this retreat. Thank you, and God bless you.
That's what I'm doing. No, I'm introducing you. That's the program. Okay, go ahead.
Income 2023. Please receive with me Dr. Doyin Okube, the DG Obidati Campaign Organization.
We welcome the National Treasurer of Labour Party.
We are all witnesses to the great mass movement that had become a response of the majority of our people to the rejuvenation of the Labour Party, energized by the quality of leadership of the party and the overbearing distinction and acceptability of the party's candidates presented for the coming elections. I cannot emphasize enough that the people have taken a lead in this venture by passionately, courageously, and selflessly expressing their hopes, not just for change, but their unflinching desire to spearhead this change by putting their trust and support in the Labour Party and its candidates. This meeting of today is a groundbreaking one. And I just say I'm the happiest person this day. I've longed for this gathering. I've wished for the existence of this team. We have assembled here Mr. Chairman of the Labour Party, my brother, Mr. President of the NLC, TUC. We have gathered in this room more than enough people that can install a president. The Labour Party in Nigeria, you must forgive me, is a product of the colonial era. And it was a product of necessity. It was something that had to come to checkmate the colonialists, to advance the causes of the workers in those days. And therefore, the mindset of the labor has been to defend the interests of the masses, to protest and confront governments when necessary. In this onerous task, many labor leaders, we know some of them are dead, have been brutalized, jailed, detained, maltreated, etc. And today we pay glowing tributes to them because societies have never ever advanced but for the efforts and the sufferings of those who dare to defy the system. The founding fathers of the labor movement and unions in Nigeria deserve our recognition and our acclamation. Please do that for them. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, time has changed. We must change along with it. You have trusted the leadership in the country for so many years, more than 60, 70, 80 years. And the leadership has failed. Like we say in commonplace, monkey has been walking, baboon has been chopping. But this is contrary to what even the scripture says. I'm an evangelist. The scripture says, you shall no longer build and another occupy. Am I correct? It also says, you will not work and somebody else prosper. So on the religious grounds, our position is wrong. It's wrong in the sense that what we have, where we have stood, in terms of national development, we must step out and change. There's no reason why an Abure cannot be president. There's no reason why our leader here, Ayuba, cannot be president. But now that we have been lucky to have elected amongst us one of the best Nigerians, and has been accepted by a vast majority of the country, Labour has never ever had it better than now. If there's an opportunity to take government, it is now. Let us end all protests. There's no need for protest again. If we are in the saddle, we will sit down in Aso Rock and discuss and take the interests of our people at heart and act on it. What we have done, the time we have spent on the streets confronting the police is enough. Let us get the police to work for us. Let us get the police to work for us. And like I said, what I see here gives me so much joy. The Labour Party is a giant that is sleeping. We are going to wake up, and we are going to get up, and we are going to take back this country for the labor, for the youth, and for the new Nigerians that are yet to be born. What do we need to get this done? We need votes. They say the Labour Party has no structures. I used to be in PDP. I was in PDP for many years. I've been in politics for 42 years. Let me tell you, if Labour stands, no party in Nigeria can stand. No party. Labour has the greatest structure from time immemorial. All we need to do is to reawaken our structures. I must say something very unpleasant. Because of our mindset, we have assumed that we can never lead. So we have concessioned and considered leadership to those who are in actual fact inferior to us. Inferior not in age, maybe not in power, but he who labors ought to be the greatest beneficiary. But after laboring, we go hand in cap, cap in hand to the oppressors to ask for food, to beg for food. Most, or let me say many of our branches at the state level are still tied to the umbilical cords of the authorities at the state level. Today we must cut it. This retreat must grant you the platform to gain your independence as a labor organization. We need to step out once and for all and take over government. The obedient movement is an organic movement. It is not funded by us. It is not, I am the Director General of the campaign. I will be lying if I stand here and tell you that I am the one that is organizing it or that I have an idea. It's not true. It is not true. This is an idea that its time has come. The youth of this nation have taken a decision to take their destinies in their hand. I want to beg the leadership of Labour across the states. Let us come together let us use our God-given popularity and support and structures. Let us take back our country from those who have plundered it. Enough is enough. God bless you.
As citizens, we have suffered so much as the masses of this, our beloved country. Today, the challenges that we are facing as a nation, it's enormous. Today, to be able to live as a Nigerian, you pass through enormous excruciating pains. Today, we are so divided as a nation. We are so fragmented as a people. Today, for an average man to be able to eat once a day is a real challenge. Today, we have the political class that have been cut away from the masses. We have the political class that doesn't even know whether we exist or not. Today, we have a macro and microeconomic challenges. Today, the challenges are just enormous that a lot of us here, we know. Today, our political class have so divided us. They have told us that before you vote in people, you should look at their religion. They have told us that before you vote in people, you should look at where they are from. But the question that we have asked consistently is that how has our previous leaders, how have they benefited us due to where they came from? I have asked a question. Is Abuja much more better today than it was before President Olusegun Obasanjo became Nigeria president? Your guess is as good as mine. I have asked a question. The short stay that our former president, the late Umaru Yar'Adua, from Katsina, is Katsina better today because he was Nigerian president? The answer clearly is a no. And I have asked a question. Is Bayelsa, is Yenegua, is Otu-Oke better off because we had a President Goodluck Jonathan from that region? The answer clearly is a no. And today, I also asked a question. Is Katsina, is Daura much more better today than how it was before now? Before President Muhammadu Buhari ascended the position of the president of Nigeria? The answer clearly is a no, because insecurity is perverse in Katsina just as it is in every part of the country. What that means clearly is that where you are from as a leader does not matter. So we should clearly de-emphasize where a leader is from. An incompetent leader is an incompetent leader. Whether that leader is from my village, whether it's from your village, no matter where that person is from, is grossly incompetent. So, comrades, it is time for us to emphasize on capacity. It's time for us to emphasize on character. It's time for us to emphasize on competence. And it's time for us to emphasize on proven track record. Because, comrade, you may think, oh, the next person that is contesting is from my village. He will go there when he doesn't have the competence, when he doesn't have the character, and doesn't have the capacity, he will go there and fill up his or her pocket. So don't think of where the person is from, but think of the things that I've enumerated, the 3 C's: capacity, character, and competence. So, comrades, I wish to thank the organizers of this event. I wish to tell us that the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria is fully with us 101%, and whatsoever resolution that is reached at the end of this conference, we shall implement to the latter. Solidarity. Thank you.
I joined the chairman of the Labour Party to bring the goodwill of the working people of Nigeria to this all-important 2-day interactive session with the Labour Party. We are highly delighted to be part of this consultation and also interaction, which is all aimed at building a Labour Party that will have the clear philosophy, the clear understanding, and the values that all of us share as workers, as citizens, and importantly, as working class. Let me remind us that the decision for unions to register the Labour Party started as far back as 1946 under Labour leader number 1 in name and substance, Michael Imodu of blessed memory. There was a clear decision then for Labour to align with NCNC and thereafter form a Labour Party. All of us could remember that in 1945, British general election, which brought to power in the UK the first all-Labour Party structures, is something that all of us can still celebrate. Comrades, let me on your behalf warmly welcome the candidate, presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. Thank you very much. You are warmly welcome, Your Excellency. And all of us, the working class and the downtrodden, that the decision for trade unions in Nigeria to register the Labour Party started in 1946 under the leadership of Labour leader number 1, Michael Imodu of blessed memory. 2 decisions were taken at that very important organ meeting. One is to align with NCNC as a party, and 2, work towards the formation of Labour Party. And that followed the success of Labour Party in Britain in 1945, where Labour formed government. And therefore, it is in this vein that all of us work together, including our founding fathers, to then register the Party for Social Democracy, which in 2003, the name was changed to Labour Party, the party that all of us are celebrating today. This history is very, very important because it will awaken our consciousness and align with the consciousness of our founding fathers. Because history, they said, is the best form of decision-making process that can make us very active. Labour Party was formed clearly with this philosophy of promoting people-centered agenda in democracy. It's not about self, it's not about few, but it's about the whole people. And that is why when the Labour Party was formed, we thought of what would be the logo of the Labour Party. And we all agree that it should be people-centered. That's why you have Papa, Mama, and Pikin as the logo of the Labour Party. Is the only party in Nigeria that have a people-centered agenda that will promote people above everything. The philosophy and value and principle are anchored first on fairness, justice, respect for the rule of law, people's freedom, and shared prosperity that will prosper development. These are very important, comrades, because every democracy must actually promote people's freedom, including defending rights and the rights of citizens, including the right of workers. So as we go into this whole journey of promoting Labour Party and promoting all our candidates, this centrality of the philosophy of the party must continue to resonate across boards, across all structures, because that is why Labour Party is different and distinct from all other political parties. I am convinced that with this agenda, which Labour Party will promote, we'll be able to do something different. I agree with the earlier speakers that the problem of Nigeria is not about resources. We are so blessed, enormously blessed, with human and material resources. In fact, it's been said that there is no country in the world that is as so blessed as Nigeria. What is then the problem? The problem is clearly leadership. From the First Republic to where we are today, the problem is actually leadership. When you look at the arid land from the north to the south, you will be amazed of how God has blessed us. When you look at the human resource across the continents of the world, Nigerians are making wave. They are the best in every sector. In fact, 5 weeks ago, I was in Philadelphia, and I had to branch to Alabama to visit the University of Alabama. I was told that 70% of the wealth of Alabama was actually aligned to the university. And I went there to see a professor in Nigeria. He said the best 10 are actually Nigerians. So what is going wrong with us is about harnessing our resources, both human and material, to be able to add value and make Nigerian citizens better. It will actually bug all of us that Nigeria, despite being the 6th largest oil producer in the world, that we cannot refine petroleum products for more than 3 decades. What do? We export crude oil, and half of it even stolen. And in turn, we go back to buy refined product. And we don't complain that things are not working and there is question about subsidy. That is one question that Labour can be able to attend to. Labour Party will address that issue. And there are many avenues to address that issue. It is not rocket science, comrades, to fix the problem. We have the solution. We have commission studies. It's possible. If we have people that are refining illegally, we can organize them into clusters. And continue to refine. Let us get the oil producing states into the agenda. It is possibility. We have done a study. It's 18 months to build a modular refinery. Today, one of the commodities that is out of reach of every home, every business, especially small and medium-sized enterprises, is diesel. I heard our friend Obasanjo complaining that his business is going down because he cannot afford diesel. This is the same problem. We say fix it. And you can see, out of office, people are now lamenting. It's easy. The easiest commodity to refine is actually diesel. And once you fix the modular refineries, in every oil-producing community, let us bring these youths, fix our refineries. They will be able to actually start with diesel. And therefore, let us stop importation of diesel. There is no reason for diesel to be sold between 850 and 900 naira in Nigeria per liter. No reason. And I make the point, we are the only oil-producing country in the world that imports 100% of our refined products. Why? Because people benefit. In fact, they told us that more than a quarter of the petroleum product is also stolen. How can it be stolen? It means connivance. It means there is a cabal. And this must be broken. This is the whole mark of our argument. Comrades, as our candidate have said, we cannot continue to be a consumer nation. Manufacturing, returning to manufacturing and production economy will certainly address the issue of poverty in Nigeria. It can also address the issue of job creation. There is nowhere in the world where we can say only one sector, either the private sector, can provide all the employment opportunities. No, it is about a wrong policy. I was in South Africa 5 days ago also, and I visited the University of Johannesburg. Every policy about that country is from the university. And I tell you that every vehicle used in South Africa is not only assembled, it's produced in South Africa. Today, the entire Gulf manufactured in the world is no longer in Germany. It's being produced in South Africa. Why? There is a favorable environment. And the leaders are very thoughtful in attracting those production lines and also for people to be gainfully employed. That is what we are bringing to the table as a new argument that we can do it and we have the resources to do it. Comrades, our youths are not lazy. Our youths are not lazy. I say so. Our youths are the best. They only need empowerment and support. Because everywhere around the world, people celebrate the ingenuity of Nigerian youths. When you hear about Yahoo Yahoo, it's not a lazy man that can also go into Yahoo Yahoo. It's people that are intelligent. And therefore, let us harness the resources of our youths by organizing them and by giving them the necessary support that they can be able to create wealth in our country. That is what Labour Party will be doing. Comrades, the issue of accountability and respect for the rule of law and addressing the issue of corruption headlong is something that we must all promote. Nigeria is not a poor country, it's only that the resources are being stolen. And it's an organized crime against all of us. Sometimes people argue that civil servants are also corrupt. But if the head is rotten, there is no way the body can also be rotten. As organized labor, we have supported the fight against corruption holistically. In fact, I remember as far back as 2005, the first major rally by NLC under my leadership was the fight against corruption. But what do we see? The argument is, have we been able to fight corruption? It's obviously no. If one person will steal 109 billion and compromise IPs, we cannot be coming here to say IPs have succeeded. That's the reality, comrade. And therefore, we will also work around very assiduously to addressing these issues. And lastly, you cannot be able to drive economy without also fixing the critical infrastructure. Importantly is the issue of power. For many years, we have been trying to fix power, but that has eluded us. Not that it's not possible. It's possible to fix it. And importantly, and close to our mind, is also how we can free our local governments, free the judiciary, free the legislature, especially State House Assembly, from the grip of few strong politicians. Their resources must go to them. And therefore, we'll continue to promote the issue of autonomy for those structures to work effectively to address the challenge of insecurity and all issues. Comrades, these are very clear issues that we need a structure that can be able to address it. And I make the point that protest and strike alone cannot fix Nigeria. Workers, as Imodu said, must be active towards selecting leaders that they think have the criteria, the quality, the wherewithal, the energy, the intellectual ability to be able to provide leadership. And I've argued severally about how leadership can be able to also turn around situation. There are three major variables that a leader must possess, particularly in developing countries like Nigeria. In other climes, a different paradigm because they have strong institutions. The fact is that we are not having strong institutions because the institutions are not independent and they are not strong like we have in the US. In the US, you can bring anybody because the institutions are strong and therefore no president can actually upturn those institutions. But in our own case, we need leaders that can build strong institutions, institutions that can stand the test of time. And once we have that in place, things will actually fall in line. And for such a leader, first, he must have the energy. He must have the energy. Leadership is about energy. You must have the intellectual ability. And lastly, you must also be tested and trusted. That there is any alibi hanging on your neck that you have stolen people's money to assist or help yourself. Comrades, this is what can make the difference. Because whether we like it or not, politics have become business in Nigeria. I've seen people selling their property in order to go into politics. And the moment they go inside, you are sure that they will recover their investment even with profit. That is not the type of politics Labour Party will be preaching. And that is why we said clearly that people must meet our criteria before we support them, and we'll be able to also make sure that all our structures across the length and breadth of this country must be conscientized. So one issue that we must take very serious is actually conscientizing our members and also Nigerians. Because Nigeria is so much divided. along many primordial interests and many interests that are self-centered that we need to address. No country in the world can prosper and work in unity if the country is so divided. So one of the responsibilities of Labour Party is to unite Nigerians along a common goal of development and prosperity. So once again, comrades, I know that this is just a welcome message, but it's to remind us where we're coming from. It's to remind us of the enormous task of what we need to do and to promote candidates of the Labour Party, but also go to the field. Particularly our youth, I'm so happy that the youth have aligned themselves with the structures and the struggle of the working class with their parents, because we are actually parents to the students and the youths. And I'm happy that they are now realizing that agonizing alone without organizing cannot take us anywhere. So let us organize at all levels. Let us send the message at all levels. And I assure you that as Britain did it in 1945, where all the structures were actually won by the Labour Party, and recently, because my General Secretary of the International Trade Union Confederation is from Australia. Recently, Australia also did the same. So I will give you the history in the business session of how that is done, what perspectives we are bringing to the table, and what structures we need to activate. Not that we don't have structures, we have structures. Human beings are the structures. It's just to activate the structures and put them to use. It's just like a weapon. It's just like a weapon in the military cycle. You service them when the need arises. So the need have arisen for all the structures of the political commission of both TUC and NLC to be activated in all the 774 local governments. Importantly, also the structures of all our affiliates, both TUC and NLC, membership put together is 12 million. And I will share with you in the business session what also brought in Biden. Because you remembered a month ago, I was in Philadelphia also when we had the Congress of American Federation of Labor, and President Biden was there live and direct. And he reiterated that he's not ashamed to be called the president of the working people of America, because he said the workers and the middle class build America. And I will share with you what happened in Atlanta when we did the primaries between Ben Sanders and the current President Biden by the American Federation of Labor. And I was there as a guest speaker, and I saw democracy in action, and I saw workers participating actively. In the business session, we'll share all of that, and I'm sure we are going to have a very good platform and a very good foundation to offer leadership, and leadership that will address the numerous challenges of the working class in Nigeria. Once again, solidarity forever. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Solidarity forever. Union with us.
Great Nigerian people. Great Nigerian people. On the Workers' Charter of Demands. If this august assembly can adopt the workers' charter of demands, you will know that your job is already completed. Because for us as a people, I say it all the time, that Nigeria has no business with poverty. We have no business with frustration. Because this is a well-endowed nation. Other countries are jealous of us. But what have we done with the enormous resources at the disposal of our country? We've listened to wonderful speeches. But let me respond to one or two issues. This government promised that we're going to migrate from PMS to CNG, and 250 billion naira was voted for that. And the government said in 2020 that once we migrate, most of our vehicles, if most of our vehicles can run on gas, a liter of fuel will be 94 naira. Today, the government is thinking of increasing fuel price to 500 naira. Comrade President of NSC, and I want to say this here publicly, about 7 years ago, the government of Nigeria spent a colossal sum of 50 billion naira to acquire a software by Petroleum Equalization Fund to track and monitor all tankers that load fuel in any part of Nigeria. Today you are being told that Nigerians have to be punished because of the criminal activities of smugglers. I've never heard that anywhere before. That a government will punish its people because of the criminal activities of a few unpatriotic elements. We have challenged the government. And we are happy now the Comptroller General of Customs has come out publicly to say that it is impossible to smuggle daily about 38 million liters of fuel. Where would they pass? Because you need tankers, and you will need at least 500 tankers loading 33,000 liters of fuel per one. NNPC has said, oh, yes, this is what is going on. Smugglers are responsible. We are also told, and Nigeria is the only country that comes out where the government will say, we are losing $700 million every day because of oil theft. Who are the oil thieves? They know them. Oil theft, oil smuggling, all have official backing. Again, Nigeria is the only oil producing country without that has not acquired the meter to know how much oil you produce daily. Nigeria is the only oil producing country that has refused to acquire that meter. Furthermore, there is an organization called Lloyd. That body, and Nigeria subscribes to that body. NNPC subscribes to that body. That body knows and has a record of all ships that load what to any part of the world. Nigeria has access to that body. Yet we are told we don't know who is stealing our oil and where the oil is being taken to. Now we did a study, January 2011 to December 2014. We discovered, and we made the information available to the government. Nothing has happened. One port, Philadelphia port in America. The oil that left Nigeria the charge in that country, the difference between what was recorded here and what was recorded here was 62.5 million barrels of crude oil, valued at $12.7 billion. One pot. So if you take 20 pots in America, 20 in China, United Kingdom, France, you know what we are talking about. So the government knows, and if they want information, we can make it available to the government. If they are actually looking for those who are stealing our oil and those who are smuggling our oil. Because this year, please, 2020 budget, 2022 budget, this government claimed that we are going to spend 443 billion naira on so-called fuel subsidy. By June, President Buhari told the National Assembly a supplementary budget that increased the 443 to 4 trillion naira. No debate. The National Assembly did not debate and passed it. Now the Minister of Finance is saying, Mrs. Ahmed Zainab, that before the end of this year, that figure of 4 trillion will go to 6.5 trillion naira. And that therefore, in the budget of next year, there may be no money for capital projects. Please, I challenge you. I challenge Labour in particular. We must get to the root of this criminality once and for all. Labour must decide today. We must decide today. We must set up a committee, NSCTUC. I will be ready to make information available to expose the criminals behind smuggling of fuel, criminals behind oil theft. Finally, for the past 7 months, our children have been home because the government is not prepared to implement the agreement is signed in 2009, in 2019, and 2020. Let us also resolve that enough is enough. Our children must go back to school. And this body, led by our Nigerian Labour Congress and TUC, can compel this government to reopen our universities. I was very reluctant to come here to speak because, as Fidel Castro once did, he went to America and they asked him to speak. He said, I don't want to offend a powerful enemy in his own territory. Let me challenge the leaders of the Labour Party. I beg you. You ain't going to get power in Nigeria by adopting the methods of the bourgeoisie. If you want to mobilize the Nigerian people, you must go beyond visiting those who destroy Nigeria. From today, your candidates must go to the offices of all the trade unions in Nigeria. The offices of women organizations, youth organizations, because the people you are competing with, please know this, have acquired, albeit illegally, unbelievable sums of money. And what do they want to do? They want to bribe voters because they have weaponized poverty. Therefore, you cannot operate on the same terrain. And the president of NIC and TUC have made the point that you have the largest structures in Nigeria. Please go out from today to revitalize those structures so that these guys can know that it can never be business as usual in Nigeria again. Time is on our side. Oh yes. Because Nigerians have lost faith in them. They are now running from pillar to post. When they say you have no structure, tell them the people are the structures of power. The people are the centers of power. Power is lying on the street in Nigeria once again. You don't know? The man in Aso Rock says, I am tired, I want to go home. Those who want to take over power from him, they are also tired, you know that? Therefore, power is lying on the street of Nigeria. Are you ready to pick it? Thank you.
Taking that photograph, let's get set for the very next item, which is of the party membership. Chai. We have said that we want people to voluntarily support the party, but we don't want to charge people to be a member of Labour Party. They can, whatever they want to do to support Labour Party will be on their own, and we'll be unveiling so many other things that shows we want to build a new party where Nigerians will be part of, where we do not have to hold people to ransom, charge them money, where they need to go and borrow money. They have to contest the election, but I will do and ensure that those who are qualified, competent to serve, will have the opportunity to serve. I'm very asking the owner of this party join the owners and the administrators, everybody will unveil this to the glory of God.
This guy, come on. Oh, this guy. Yes,
Thank you so much.
your face.
Thank you, Your Excellencies.
Please, now, please.
Labour Party is owned by from today.
Your head is here.
Go and get your membership card. The Labour Party is your own. And we are singing it in our song. We select the country where we decide on where we live. Nigeria and Nigeria. Then you select the city. Select FCT. The area council select area council.
I know, you know, I told you we have to be electoral.
Electoral ward.
So, then after will be National Secretary. Please be seated, please. First, let me sincerely apologize that I came in here before this event started. It was not my fault. However, I take responsibility for it. Somebody said, I will call you to know when you're going to come. I left UK last night, arrived Lagos this morning, took the very first flight by 6:30, arrived Abuja by 8, and when I arrived by 8, I called someone and said, when you're ready, tell me I'll be here. And I kept saying, are we ready? We are going to start. But that I own up, I was late. I sincerely apologize. Number two is that this is a retreat organized by Labour and Labour Party. My job here is to listen. Because it will be one of the most disappointing and grave damage to Nigerian existence if Labour goes through this effort and supports somebody to lead this country and it fails. God forbid. So for me, I want to listen. I want to take note. That note is more important to me than anything. I don't want to tell you people any idea. I want to listen to you. My job is to listen. So that you don't go there and start giving them excuse. Because what we are used to in this country is for people to go into office and start saying what they saw when they get in there. I don't want to see anything when I get in there. I want to hear it now. So I know what to do when I get in there. The job of the leader is to solve problem and show solution, not to give excuse. I don't want to go there and people start saying, oh, I'm blaming the people in the past. They did this, they did that. If they were doing good, you won't hire me. So I'm being hired to deal with the problem, not to remind them where they're coming from. I don't want to remind Nigerians where they're coming from. I want to start solving the problem. I listened to the president. I listened to Fulana. In fact, people like Fulana, well, I always tell people, my brother Pastor Tommy and so I say, listen, you know, you get to a stage, you'll be wondering whether you're right or you're wrong. Because how can you be speaking like this and nothing is happening? Even my only two way, I go to my house, my wife would tell me, just drop everything about GDP outside. Come inside this house and eat so that we can have peace. Because at the time you answer yourself, what is wrong with this country? ASU is on strike for 7 months. I'm not making a speech, but at that 7 months, you might not know, the committee which ASU is strike and the issues that were on strike is since 2009. It is not today. They've actually done so many strikes about this issue. From 2010, they've been striking. They were striking about this issue while I was governor. I remember very well because I was dealing with it as a governor in Anambra State University. And if I recall since then, what they were demanding was about just about 1 or 1.3 trillion, something like that. You mean Nigeria cannot pay that over the past 12 years? Come on. Our oil today, they mentioned it here as being stolen. Oil is not sweet you put in your pocket. It's not a grocery. For you to steal oil, a ship must come into your territory. Navy must approve the ship to come into your territory. Otherwise, it's war. So who is approving that? Who is stealing the oil? How much are we talking? 1.3 trillion. We are the only oil producing country, the only OPEC country that is not meeting up its quota. Apart from Venezuela that is on strike, that is on sanction. Because of sanction, every other person is actually asking to produce more. We are not meeting our own. To show you the amount of money ASU is dealing throughout the month of July, our oil production, our quota is 1.8 million per day. Throughout that month, our production, a level was 1,083,000 barrels. That means we were lacking every single day 717 barrels from our own authorized quota. If you tabulate that, it came to 22 in the month, it came to 22,227,000 thereabout. Oil on the average sold in July, you can use an average of 110. I've said it everywhere. Multiply with that number, you have $2,445,000,000. Official rate of dollar is 410. My rate and your rate is 690. 690. 690. If you put 410 and 690, it will give you 1,100. Divide it into 2, so we can get the average. So average is 550. If you multiply 550 with $2,445,000,000, it will give you $1,344,750,000,000. That will solve us strike. 1 month. That is 1 month still, what we didn't do 1 month. 1 month. 1 month, this thing will end. That's 1 month. And they continue other months. There's something wrong. And it is time we confront it. My dear people, I'm here to listen. Learning and listening is a critical component of leadership. I succeeded in Anambra State because I learned and listened to people who know. I'm happy that Frana is there. He will tell you, even though he's still accusing me for not paying his fees, he knows that I cannot pay fees. That's my problem. But he's not the only person. Last night, I showed somebody in the plane. I said to him, my head of service is a fantastic civil servant. Let nobody tell you the problem is civil servant. No, I disagree with the person. President was right. If the leader is doing the right thing, the civil servant will. My head of service is Ngozi Melifong, where everybody knows that. A daughter of a respected judge in this country, wonderful woman. When he was my head of service, every single day he comes to my office to cry and tell me, no, people are not happy with you. And I kept saying, Sister Ngozi, I never promised anybody happiness. But I can tell you, 2 weeks ago he wrote something he wanted to publish. It will eventually be published. Peter Obi, stinginess as a development strategy. Because what happened? Every time they bring file, bring this, I say, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. So they were not happy. But when I started clearing gratuities unpaid, pension unpaid, everything unpaid, they came to me and said, where are you getting the money? I said, it's your money. That money I cut here is what I'm using here. So the day I left office, everybody knows. I wasn't owing the civil servant any salary, any pension, any gratuity. All their leave allowance were paid. The rest is history. So for me, I want to learn. I want to listen. The leader doesn't know everything. Anybody that knows everything is an idiot. He shouldn't lead. President, let's put it in right. Let's document it. That's how we're going to. Even after the election, don't go away, because that's another problem we have. Don't go away. I said it, I told my people last night, I had 2 Yorubas in the plane, one Northerner and myself, and I asked them a question. Do any of us know the pilot of this plane? They said no. So why did we enter this plane? I said, we entered the plane because we are sure the man inside is pilot. And we are going to Lagos. And he's announcing us that they are going to Lagos, telling us about Lagos weather. In Nigeria, he will not be a pilot, and he will tell us about Dakar, and somebody will say, he's a Yoruba man, he's a Hausa man, he's Igbo man. Are the poor people in the north buying bread cheaper? Do they have free electricity? Do they have is there anything that getting better? Are the poor people in the southwest getting bread cheaper? No. All these things you see is elite manipulation to continue the criminality of our country called Nigeria. And people talk about structure. It is structure of criminality. It's structure of corruption. People tell you cannot fight corruption. You can fight corruption. If you, the principal person, is not stealing, your family is not stealing, those around you are not stealing, you reduce it by 70%. I said any day, I was governor of Anambra State for 8 years. Go and show me where their money has been stolen. So don't tell me we don't know this. 1%. If anybody can show me 1% of their money missing, all the money I received, I stop. And to prove that I said so, the day I left office, we have in 3 banks. I didn't say 1 bank, 3 banks. Access Bank, $50 million, 12 billion naira. Diamond Bank, $50 million, 12 billion naira. The Diamond Bank MD as are there now is the Labour Party candidate, Fabia. Go and ask him, he has said it. I have with him $50 million, 12 billion naira. Fidelity Bank, $55 million, 12 billion naira. I could have converted it into anything and taken it away under one guy or the other. Anambra have not bought me pure water since I left office as governor. Because there's no gratuity, no pension for governor. You finish your job, you go home. So we must, I will make my speech, maybe after the retreat. Mine is to learn. Put it in writing. When we succeed, don't go away. You must stay around to say, Oga, we agree say we dey go Lagos, you don't begin go Dakar. Because that's the problem. The man will come and start giving excuse. Even if you don't achieve 100% of it, we want to see 100% effort. We want to see 100% sacrifice. We cannot stay like this. The biggest asset of Nigeria today is the vast land we have in the north. No country will have that land and go hungry. I went to Niger State and I repeated everywhere I have opportunity. Niger State is 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land, fertile land. They can't feed themselves. They can't feed Nigeria. They can't export anything. Netherlands, minus water. Minus water is 33,000 square kilometers of land. Total agricultural export last year, $120 billion. If Niger State had done 1% of that, 1% is $1.2 billion. Multiply it with the real rate, 650, is over 750 billion naira. That is 5 times their budget. They are waiting to share 3 billion a month. In a year, it comes at 6 billion. What type of country is that? We must stop this consumption and go to production. I was in Taraba. Governor told me that the money they are getting is less. I said, Governor, Taraba is 54.6 thousand square kilometers of land. Belgium is 30.9. Israel is 22.1. So Taraba is bigger than Israel and Belgium. Total export of Israel last year is $59.8 billion. If combined with Belgium, you will know What are you saying here? You can grow flour here in Mambila. You can grow tea. You can grow coffee. Kenya got over $500 billion from flour export. Ethiopia got from coffee $1.1 billion. Sierra Leone with all their problem, $1.4 billion in tea. What is happening in this country? This country must move from consumption to production. Let's get the country to move. And you labor are the ones that will determine it. Leave them with their structure. They've told you what they're stealing. We'll tell you what they're missing. I just gave you an example of what 1 month can do to solve us strike. Nigerians all over the world doing well. The only thing that is happening is that we have not determined that enough is enough. Enough is enough. Let's, for the sake of our children, go back to your house and look at your children and ask yourself, what society are we going to build for them? Tell me, let us document and agree. This is what we are going to do. I am not offering anybody any excuse. The excuse will be, we'll go there, if it's not working, all of us will see it. But this time, we have to stop it. He said it. People are refining illegally. People are doing wayo illegally. Go to, with the time Indians are not wanted, they turned it into another thing. They become control of ICT. The same Yahoo people, they used to do it. They turned it into this thing. They become control of ICT. If people are doing refining illegally, let's build let's call them and see how we can work with them, make it illegal, support them, finance them. So we can earn money from it and create jobs. But we must stop. It is come to an end. My appeal is that, please, even if I'm not part of what you are doing that day, what I want to see, Mr. President, is documented things you want to happen. And we will agree. This won't be only one retreat. We'll do it now, we'll do another one, and after election, we'll sit down, maybe with Falana and write the agreement, and agree. So if it's not working, the person goes home. It is people who demand, it's not law. But it's just we have got left now. It is not, there's no constitution in Britain that says, if you go to a party, you go. No, it is the people that said, you say we won't go to a party, but you went to a party. We don't want you again. And his party removed him. It must start here. It starts here. When people don't want to, they go home. You must not stay. Election next year will not be based on ethnicity. We've had it before. It will not be based on religion. There's no place for Christians to buy food cheaper. There's no place Muslims to buy food cheaper. It must not be by my turn. It's nobody's turn. It must not be by connection. Any of the primordial reasons they've used. Election next year must be based, one, on character we can trust, verifiable where it's coming from. It must be based on competence, capacity, and commitment to start turning around Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think His Excellency deserves a round of applause. Put your hands together for him.